I don't know if you've noticed in the world, but there are a lot of emotional issues going on all over the world right now. And what I have seen recently, a lot of, is couples, friends, coworkers arguing passionately because other people don't believe exactly what they believe. So the question is, how do you communicate with others who have very different opinions of the world from you? Well, I believe it's possible for sure, but there is one key. Matter of fact, it's a pretty straightforward and direct key. The most effective way to talk to others about very passionate or emotional topics is not to want to influence them in any way whatsoever. In other words, if I speak to you about something that I'm passionate about, but I have no desire to make you believe what I believe, and if I'm not going to just throw out what I believe and readily adopt what you believe, then it puts me in a safe position to just share some thoughts with you, share some ideas with you. Hey, this is how I believe about this. And it's okay if you don't believe that, if you think differently. Now, what has been presented to me a lot recently is I'm okay if the other person doesn't believe what I believe, but they're not okay if I don't believe what they believe. Now, that's a really difficult predicament. If you are friends with someone or your loved one is in a spot where if you don't believe exactly what they tell you, almost like a totalitarian leader, you will believe everything I believe or else, and then say extreme things. Well, I always say that when people teach you about who they are, it's important to listen. So if someone's going to present as I must believe everything they believe or they're not okay, I do two things. If I am around them because they're in my personal life and they're passionate about that, I'm just mindful. I don't need to influence them in any way whatsoever. And I don't need to talk about that subject. So I can politely shift the conversation. And the other thing that I do, and I think is really helpful, is I genuinely practice the non attachment that I teach. In other words, I do believe things very powerfully, profoundly. There are beliefs I have that are very strong in my life. But I'm also really well aware that it's possible I could be wrong about anything I believe. And so I'm okay with that. I believe things strongly, but I'm always open to learning something new. I can't change how others might approach me and what they demand from me, but I can hold fast to the core of who I am and my principles, such as non attachment, and say, listen, this is what I believe. I respect you. If you have a different belief, that's cool. And if you're angry with me and you don't want to be around me because I won't see things your way, then I respect that. And I'm happy to give you that space. What I don't want to do is maintain people in my life or my close circle who are going to yell at me and scream at me and tell me that I'm not living life correctly. So I would, with a lot of compassion and love and patience, I'd have to set a boundary right there. And sometimes that is exactly what we need to do. I hope this helps. Until next time, as always, I wish you much peace.